Welcome to number 9 from the Chapter 4 Closure packet. This video will talk about our exponent rules. So the directions: simplify each expression to 1 without 0 or negative exponents. So as we look at it here, letter A, we've got 3x to the 4th, y to the 5th, and it's being raised to the 3rd power. So we can do this a couple different ways. For me, I like to think about it sometimes as being 3x to the 4th, y to the 5th, times a 3x to the 4th, y to the 5th, times a third 3x to the 4th, y to the 5th. Now we're multiplying everything together, so I know I'm going to do a 3 times a 3 times a 3, which is 3 to the 3rd if you were just using your exponent rules. But 3 to the 3rd is going to be 27. And then when we go in and we look at x to the 4th times x to the 4th times x to the 4th, how many times are we really multiplying x's? Well, this one means, right, x times x times x times x. This one's x times x times x times x, and so is the last one. So it looks like we're going to have a 27x to the 12th power. And then we'll go through the y to the 5th, y to the 5th, and y to the 5th, which is going to get us to y to the 15th power. And that is our answer. 27x to the 12th, y to the 15th. Let's look at B. With B, we've got two quantities. We've got 5xy squared, and then we have 4x to the 3rd, y to the 8th. Now, there's no power on either of these grouping symbols. So this is really the same thing as just saying 5 times x times y squared times 4 times x to the 3rd times y to the 8th. And we can rearrange things when we multiply, so we could do basically 5 times 4 times an x times x to the 3rd times a y squared times y to the 8th. Let's just put it all together. 20 x to the 4th, y to the 10th. And that should be our answer. Letter C, we have x squared y to the 3rd over x squared y to the negative 1st. Okay, this is one where we can take it and we can think about each compatible part on its own. When I do x squared divided by x squared, we're actually going to end up with 1, right? Because when you divide something by itself, you get 1. And then we have to remember what to do with this negative exponent. We're going to take this y to the negative 1st, move it to the top, and it becomes a positive y to the 1st. So y to the 3rd times y to the 1st is going to give us a y to the 4th. So since these cancel, giving us with 1, we move this to the top, right? It becomes like a 1 underneath, and then we have y to the 4th on the top. When we simplify that, we get simply y to the 4th power. And then the last one is very similar. We can take it and break it apart into compatible parts. 18x to the 5th, y to the 4th, over 27x squared, y to the 12th. I'm going to move this one down just a little bit lower, just so we don't run into the other work. I'm also going to split it, 18 over 27 times x to the 5th over x squared times y to the 4th over y to the 12th. Now 18 over 27, we know that that's like saying 9 times 2 over 9 times 3, which the 9s would cancel. We've got 2/3. I know that the x squareds down here are going to cancel out 2 of the ones from up here, leaving me with an x to the 3rd. On the bottom, we have a 1. And then the same thing here. 4 of these are going to cancel out with 4 of these, and the leftover 8 are going to be on the bottom. So we're going to have times 1 over y to the 8th. And our goal now will be just to put it all back together. Multiply what we have in the numerator, multiply what we have in the denominator. 2 times x to the 3rd is 2x to the 3rd. On the bottom, we're going to get 3y to the 8th. And that is our final answer. If you have additional questions about these ones, please make sure you reach out. Otherwise, thanks for watching and good job doing your packet.